What's up, everybody? This is Tim, aka Cheap, aka Cheap Ass Statue Collector, Cask, whatever you want to call me. Today I wanted to talk about plastic versus resin. I've got a lot of pieces coming in that are, polystone and with the resin head, or polystone with plastic, and I've been watching some people's reviews and people have been negative about PVC plastic being on their statues and whatnot. And basically I wanted to go ahead and start the conversation and not give a lecture, but start the conversation of what is PVC plastic, what is polystone, and kind of give the definitions out there and kind of give you guys examples of different material statues here that I have. So basically I want to start a conversation. I want to talk about this. What I did is I went online, I did my own research, because I'm like, is PVC plastic a negative for your statue? Like, is it really a higher quality to have polystone or some type of other resin? And maybe this will help you not necessarily make up your mind, but maybe do your own research to figure out for yourself what you prefer in your statues. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about PVC. PVC is the third most used produced plastic. PVC will deform at any temperatures over 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, right? So they're actually pretty durable to the heat. High temperature and high pressure by machines is used to mold and cast these things, which is actually very expensive. And most companies don't want to do PVC plastic unless it's going to be a wide mass-produced product, because it does cost money to make these. The advantage of plastics include that it's durable. You could drop it and it'll bounce. It's mostly very soft vinyl, and it's light in weight, and it's very easy to paint on as well, and it'll hold the paint very well. This is PVC plastic. Now, ABS plastic is something like your console, your Xbox One, your PlayStation 1, whatever, that plastic, that hard shell plastic. And basically that's an even harder plastic, and you have to prime that to actually get paint on that. So those are the two different type of plastics that are mostly used with things around your house, either your statues or your consoles. The next thing we're going to want to talk about are resin and polystone. So resin is basically the same, it's a similar process of making stuff as epoxy. It's basically two liquids together that cause a chemical reaction, and it solidifies. It's capable of hardening permanently, so statues. It's very similar to PVC, but it's much more brittle than PVC is. It also has to be primed to be painted. The advantage of resin kits is that it's very soft and it's easy to cut. It is actually a lot lighter than maybe like a polystone, but because it is resin, if you do drop it, it will break. Unlike maybe Superman here, you drop him, he might not break. The silicone mold is actually relatively cheap when dealing with resin, which makes resin the preferable and most common used material for products and prototypes as well. So the next thing we want to talk about is polystone. Polystone is actually a resin compound, and it's a compound made up of largely polyurethane resin mixed with powdered stone additives that give it that added weight and that porcelain stone-like feel. It's a polished stone. Polystone is durable and is highly effective in maintaining a sharp paint finish. Unlike porcelain, which is fired up in an oven, polystone is a cold cast material in which no heat is used to make this piece, resulting in much greater variations of paint finishes. But in reality, it's actually more brittle compared to resin, but they do use a little bit more high quality compounds for polystone than resin. Basically, that's my notes right here. I didn't want to go too much in detail. Like I said, go online, look this stuff up before you get upset about your piece or before you return anything. Right here we have a PVC plastic statue, Superman, Kotobukiya. Suggested retail price is at $120. It's a resin statue, Kotobukiya. Suggested retail price of $220. So it's $100 more for this resin statue. Now, the question is, you know, why? Why is this $100 more than this? Is it, you know, if it costs a lot of money to, you know, produce these plastic pieces because you have to heat it and you have to, you know, use high pressured machines, why is this cheaper than this? Right now, some would say, well, we've got plastic all around us, and plastic is just an easy and cheap thing to produce. But it might not be that it's just easy to produce, but it also might mean that plastic is produced as much because it's used for so many different things. But in our minds, we think, hey, plastic is used all around us. It's cheap. I throw it away when I drink my bottles or recycle them, right? But you're also, my house is lined with, you know, PVC pipes because they serve so much more greater functions, so we mass produce so much plastic. And in reality, this plastic should last up to 340 years, right? That's the average lifespan of plastic before it starts to break down and die in natural, in a landfill. So, you know, the debate over, you know, this is a higher quality than plastic is, I think, is going to come down to your preferences, and I think the price of a statue is going to not necessarily be determined on the quality or the material that you're using, right? Or the quality of the material that you're using for statues. You have to look at the IP. How much does it cost to make a Carnage or Superman, or to borrow these IP names, right? And then, you know, who's the sculptor? How much are they paying? You know, how much are they paying? You know, what's this guy's contract? What's this person's, you know, contract for painting this or for sculpting this? And then where's the factory at? What quality of factory are they using? Are they using a good factory or a bad factory to make this stuff? And from my point of view, I work in the tech computer, you know, section, and I work in the R&D side, research and development side of things. And, you know, when our stuff is released to the public, I read a lot of you know, the marketing that's out there on our products, and it's really amazing how they can sell our stuff to people that have no idea what we're actually making, but they do it in such a nice and friendly way and magical way, right, that you feel like you're getting a really good product, you know, high quality product. And you know, you see this in other marketing schemes with statues and other collectibles, where it's like high quality polystone or high quality resin for the face sculpt, right? When in reality, it's really not that much, not high quality at all. It's just resin, right? So before you get upset that you have plastic on your statue, you might want to see what does it actually look like. Does it actually look good? Does it, you know, what kind of a statue is it? Is it a smaller statue? Is it okay that it's PVC plastic? You know, or do you want, if it's a large statue, do you want that weight? Do you want that polystone weight? You know, those are the things you want to look at when you're buying a statue or when you have a statue in hand. For example, this is the porcelain statue, right? Like I said, this is the porcelain, this is resin, this is actually lead. So they don't really make statues out of this. Lead is heavy, but they don't make statues with lead anymore. And actually, I wanted to show you guys this piece because this is plastic. See, this is PVC plastic, it's light, it pops right onto the arm, and really, I don't mind that it's plastic. I don't really have an issue with this. It's going to be more durable if I hit it, if it gets hit by other things. It's more likely to bend more than, and bounce back more than it is to break. Whereas he is all polystone, and actually his sword here is actually polystone as well. And I've noticed that this polystone sword actually moves a little bit more because of the weight and the weak magnet on this little piece. So it might have actually been better if this was plastic. So you know, these are things that you have to take into consideration when you're collecting, when you're buying things. I can't get this on right now while I'm being typed. I know a lot of people are out there they got their Skeletor reviews out. Some people are upset about their plastic on the Skeletor. Some people are upset about the Spider-Man Iron Studios pieces having plastic on them. But plastic itself, yes, we mass produce it more, but I don't necessarily think it's a lesser quality of product if you use plastic. If they can pull off the look with the polystone and plastic mixed together, fine. Then I don't really think I have anything to worry about. I just dropped this and the problem is plastic. To conclude this video, or this conversation, right, I don't really want to say that PVC or resin is better than PVC, but I think it's all just a marketing and a psychological thing in your head of what you think is better, what you think is not so good, right? What matters to me is paint jobs, sculpting, poses, and how much it costs, right? And you take in, you know, what it's made out of for the cost, right? It actually might cost a lot or a good amount of money to make a PVC, you know, PVC plastic statue. I wouldn't want my sideshow PFs statues to be PVC plastic, right? Because I like that feel of a real, you know, heavy, solid statue. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, paint apps come out differently with different products, right? You get a very rich look with polystone. Even with faces, with human faces, you get a really nice look with polystone statues in the paint. And with PVC plastic, you can pull off a certain kind of look, you know, comic book colorful look. PVC plastic, I've seen some beautiful PVC paint jobs that are very cartoonist, or very cartoony in their, you know, their art style. Like I said, I don't necessarily mind, you know, other plastic or plastic-like parts on my statue if it goes well, if it makes sense, and I don't really tell. You know what I mean? If it makes the statue look worse because it is plastic, or you're having issues with it because of its plastic, or because it's polystone and you're having an issue because of the polystone, or how they did it, then yeah, that is going to be an issue. You know, then the plastic will be an issue if things start falling apart or breaking. Fuck that. But like I said, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. From my point of view, I've just did some research. I'm buying statues. That doesn't mean I'm an expert in anything with statues. Like I said, it's important for you guys to do your own research and not just, you know, go to a forum and talk to a bunch of people and what they think, but just research general things like, you know, how long does it take for polystone to break down versus plastic? How easy is it to mass produce polystone versus resin versus plastic versus all the other types of plastic and other things that you can mold and sculpt with, right? And then you'll get a better idea of you know, high quality a piece is, right? And you might change your mind, you might not. You might make a stronger case for what you want to talk about. At the end of the day, you know, you do want something heavy as a statue collector. You want something heavy, but I also love how I could put this on any glass shelf and never have to worry about it breaking, right? So there are pros and cons to both, like a resin or a plastic. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys totally disagree with me, if you guys think I'm missing something, or if maybe you know a little bit more about the R&D behind some of the statues and what it actually costs to make, you know, a resin statue versus like a plastic statue. So let me know what you guys think. Remember to like, sub, blah 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 blah. Peace.